So before we go any further with writing more rest assured tests, it seems now is a good time for us to set up a base class. So a base class is where we can put code that will be commonly executed amongst all of our tests. So I'm just going to show you how I would set this up very quickly now. So we'll just add in a new package, and we can just call this config for now. And in that package we'll add a new Java class, and we'll call this test config. Okay, so we've opened up that class. Let's zoom in a little bit here. So in our test config class, we're just going to put code that we want to run before our rest assured. So code that sets up our rest assured for us and sets up some common options. So we'll add a JUnit before class annotation, public static void, and we'll just call this method setup. So this method will run before all of our tests. So at the moment when we call our test, we're specifying the full domain name and the port and the path before we actually get to the endpoint that we want to call. So we can actually put this into our base class so that rest assured we only have to specify this once. This makes it easy if we end up in a situation where we've got hundreds of tests and we suddenly want to change our environment. We only need to change it in one place. So let's go ahead and add that in now. So we're going to add in first the base URI. So we do rest assured.base URI, and then we're just going to take it from the other test. So in this case it's just HTTP localhost. We'll add that in there. We can also add in the port number. So we do rest assured.ports, and the port that we're using here is 8080. And finally we'll add in the base path. So our base path for our tests is this /app/. Let's go ahead and add that. Okay, and that's all that we need initially for our base class. We'll add more code to this later on, but I thought it was just a good idea to get that set up for us now initially. So now that we've got our base class set up, we just need to go ahead and make some changes to our test just to get that wired up. So firstly we're going to extend our test on the test config class that we just created, and we'll take out the bits that we don't need anymore from the URI. So now we're just calling this endpoint videogame/1, and the test config class that we just created will handle all of the other data set up for us. Let's go ahead and run that quickly. So that test will run, and now that test passes fine. So even though we've only specified this part here, we actually call the whole endpoint. Let's just check that definitely is working. So if we just change the port to 8081, we'll try that, run that again, and we would expect that to fail because the port's not correct. And indeed it fails. It can't connect to that port, which is as we would expect. So that's our base class set up. We'll be adding a lot more code to this later on, but this seems like a good time to get that set up now. Right, see you in the next lecture.